Everybody has been looking for a 5G phone, and Redmi Note 10 just answered it with a Redmi Note 10 5G. This is the first ever 5G phone released globally by Redmi for this series. So are you ready? Let's unbox it. So hi guys, it's me Mitch002 and welcome back to my channel. So you can see that I've just unboxed the Redmi Note 10 5G, and it's really something nice, and the back is really a matte finish. It's plastic back, plastic frame, and a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 front. So one of the things that I noticed from this one is that it still carry on that old fingerprint design with a flat one, which is kind of edgy. Last year, the Redmi Note 9 series, it has 3 variants: Redmi Note 9, Redmi Note 9S, and Redmi Note 9 Pro. This year for the Redmi Note 10 series, they have 4. I don't know, it's kind of confusing, but the Redmi Note 10, the Redmi Note 10 5G, the Redmi Note 10S, and the Redmi Note 10 Pro. This one is more focused for faster connectivity with a 5G. Now this Redmi Note 10 5G ships with the MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G. And what I'm holding right now is a 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. It has a UFS 2.2 configuration. And upon checking the score from Antutu, it roughly have a 250,000 points. And from iTudo, 76,000 points. Now this phone also have a level 1 wideband security level on HDR info, meaning you can watch HD on this phone. Now one of the good things from this phone is that it has a 90Hz screen refresh rate. But on the trade-off, it is just IPS LCD, 6.5-inch 1080p, and Corning Gorilla Glass 3 front protection. Of course, having that 90Hz screen refresh rate, when you swipe left and right, it feels a lot more buttery smooth. That's what's nice about 90Hz refresh rate. Now watching some videos here over from this phone, I can say it's nice, though probably one of the things that's lacking here is a stereo speaker, and the screen is very smooth, buttery smooth, because it has a 90Hz refresh rate, but it could have been better if it's an AMOLED display. And overall viewing angle is nice, though that punch hole on top is just a little bit bigger compared to the other phones. Now, I did rock this phone under bright sunlight, and yeah, the display is still very much watchable. Now, let's try some gaming on this phone. Playing Call of Duty, one of my favorite games, of course. I can say that the gameplay is nice, and of course, I cannot set all those high settings on this phone because it's just a Dimensity 700. The gameplay is nice. I just lowered a little bit of the graphic settings and was able to play better compared to setting it higher. The phone feels a little bit warm when you play over 30 minutes. But overall, I did use a game cooler to keep it a little bit cool. Now, the gameplay, I can say I was able to enjoy the game, except that the sounds is a little bit lacking because I just feel that it needs a stereo speaker, unless you want to hook your headphones on the headphone jack. Now, let's talk about the camera on this phone. It has a 48MP triple camera setup. It has an aperture of 1.8, 2MP macro lens, and 2MP depth sensor. Up front, it has an 8MP front shooter. Now let's try to take some pictures using this phone. For indoors, I was able to gather some good shots, but outdoors, some or many of my shots are overexposed. Probably they need to update this camera using some firmware updates over the air. For the 8MP front camera, I'm also not that impressed with some of those shots. Of course, I do expect a lot from Redmi cameras, and they have been making good cameras from the past, but this one I can say that they could have done it better on this phone. Probably, I hope that they can correct it using some firmware updates, but this one is definitely a little bit off from my expectation. Since this phone has a 5G connectivity, I slapped a GOMO SIM from Globe inside this phone, and I was able to immediately get 5G connectivity, and the speed test, well, as expected, not too high because 5G is, well, still in its infancy stage here in my country. Now, this phone rocks a 5000 mAh of battery, supporting up to 18 watts of fast charge. Then I drained this phone down to 4%, and of course, charging it back up, it took me 1 hour and 54 minutes. And of course, asking PC Mark battery stress test, I was able to squeak out 16 hours of screen on time. Based on my 1 week of usage, for me, it was able to last me roughly more than a day, but not more than 2 days, of course, lasting me up to a day and a half before I need to charge it again. So this phone comes in 3 colors, either go for the silver, the gray, or the green. What's your choice? Now, the Redmi Note 10 5G for me is a good phone if you want to try the 5G connectivity in your country. But if your country is still not yet 5G ready, well, I guess you could probably opt for other Note 10 series. That's of course based on my opinion. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, of course, click that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos here from my channel. So I hope to see you on the next one.